Alright guys, so we will now proceed to income taxation. Okay, so ito, 14 items na over 70 items of taxation will be drawn from this segment, no, income tax. So ito yung mga important na topics, no, that we will be covering. So ayan, i-check mo na lang yung screen. Alright, so basically it's the same structure as the pre-recorded videos, but we will cover all the rules here, no? There will be no illustration. You can check the dito guys, yung ating live lecture, no? May replay naman po yung mga live lecture natin, no? For the application, no? The practical application. By the way, the live lectures are current na, yung EOPT lang na konti, no? Hindi pa natin pinasok sa live lecture kasi what will be tested, no? In the upcoming board exam is this May, no, 2024, no? For future period, ha, EOPT na tayo. But the discussion here covers everything, EOPT and create, no? Okay, so yun guys, no? Alright, so that's it. Now, let's first look at this topic, no? Introduction to income tax. So we will recall the concept of income, what are the tax schemes, income taxpayers, cycles of income, accounting period, accounting method, taxpayers' obligation, and penalties for failure to file and pay taxes. Okay, first thing guys is ito, gross income. So ano ang income for taxation purposes? Remember, no? Return on capital, no? Okay, dapat merong exchange, no? Return on capital. It is the excess of what we give. So when we sell property or goods, yung gain po, yun po yung return, no? Yun po yung income. The same with tax actually, no? But in the case of service, kung servicing ka, tandaan mo, no? Wala kang binibigay na consideration na tangible, not just your effort. So when we say return on capital in selling service, it is the receipt, no? Yung revenue that you derive, no? Revenue po ang ginamit po ng EOPT instead of receipt, no? Okay? So yun, na. All right. So kumbaga yung fees and revenues mo, wala pong cost na deductible, no? That is return. Okay, for income tax. Kung goods o service, yung gain kapag po nagbenta tayo, no? So yun, just don't forget in taxation there are capital items that cannot be measured by money, no? Yung compensation for life, for example, yung human health, no? And yung human dignity, no? Okay, just don't forget, kaya po hindi po tinatax ang process of life insurance, no? Okay, even if personal life insurance yan or insurance ng relative, wala pong tax po dyan, no? Kasi nga po, loss of life ang kapalit. Life is not measurable by money. Ano pa? Yung accident po, no? Yung mga indemnity, no? Because of accident, no? Yung mga ganyan, hindi rin po siya taxable, no? Kasi health po yun, no? Alright? And then, guys, yung mga, for example, moral damages, no? From breach of promise to marry, di ba? Yung mga ganyan na instances, no? Oral defamation, mga ganyan, no? Those are not taxable po kasi po human dignity is not measurable by money. So yun lang po yung exception, no? In all other cases po, kapag may excess consideration we receive in selling goods, yun po return on capital. Taxable po yun as a rule. And when we sell service, the gross amount we receive is also taxable as a rule. Okay, realized benefit, no? Realized benefit. Probably ito po yung pinaka-importante na dapat natin tandaan in taxation. Realize na benefit, no? To cut this story short, when we say realize, may natanggap kang cash or non-cash consideration. Ha? Bakit po? Ha? Bakit kailangan realize? Kasi nga po, ang tax is based on ability to pay. And you only have ability to pay kapag meron kang cash na pambayad. Okay? Hindi lang naman po, hindi natin sinasabi na cash lang po ang taxable, no? When we exchange something and we receive goods in return, barter ba? Okay, that's also taxable. Okay, taxable ang sale of goods or service for cash. Taxable din po yung sale of goods or service for properties. Okay? So, yun, no? Dapat may property or cash kang natanggap, no? As a result. Kumbaga, may closed and completed transaction na nangyari. No? Ganun, ha? So, to cut the story short, kung hawak-hawak mo lang yung asset mo, nag-increase yung fair value niya, no? Okay? Hindi ho yun taxable, no? Kasi nga po, hindi mo pa dinispose, no? Hindi pa closed and completed yung, kumbaga, yung transaction, no? Okay, hindi mo pa masasabing realize yun, no? Yung increase in fair value in accounting, hindi po yan tinatax, no? Yung increase gain in procreation of biological asset, nanganak yung baboy mo, no? hindi yan taxable sa atin. Unless, kung ibenta mo yung biik, yun, taxable na po yun. Realize na kapag ganun. Nag-guess po? So, yung mga liability that are carried at fair value through profit or loss din. Forex, for example, di ba nagpa-fluctuate ang Forex, no? Receivable mo, nag-decrease ng value, loss yun, di ba? Sa accounting, kapag nag-increase ng value, unrealized gain yun. Tama? Yung liability mo, nag-decrease ang value, unrealized gain din sa accounting yun. Sa atin, walang ganun sa tax. Dapat may benta o barter. Yung gain na matatax nanggaling sa benta o barter. Tandaan natin yan. Okay? So, yun po, realized benefit. No? And not exempted by law. No? Not only law. No? There are actually 3 of them. Law, constitution, 4 pala. Law, constitution, contract, or treaties. Even if, yun nga, return on capital siya, hindi naman po infinite value ng capital na yun. So, merong excess return on, realize pa siya, galing sa sale or barter pa siya. If it is exempted by law, contract, constitution, or treaty, hindi na po siya matatax. And this is the most difficult part of taxation kasi there are many exemption laws, no? Okay? So, yun po, no? Yun ang nagpapakomplicate sa pagmamaster ng tax. But in the board exam, do not worry. Kasi po, yung mga obvious lang, yung mga legal provision lang po, yung mga constitutional provision that are granting exemption on taxation lang ang nakukover po ng exam, no? Okay, so you do not have to worry about treaties, about what are the contracts entered into by the government, no need. Legal and constitutional exemption lang po, focus natin. Okay, yan. So guys, ganito po siya, no? Kapag may income sa taxation, no? Remember, it is taxable to either of these 3 tax scheme. Ang Pilipinas may 3 taxation scheme, o 3 sistema ng pagtatax. Final tax, capital gains tax, saka regular income tax, no? Itong final tax para sa mga passive income to, mga certain passive income. Wini-withhold po at source ang tax. Kapag po may natanggap akong income dyan, yung nagbabayad sa akin ng income, siya na po magkakaltas nung tax. No, ako wala na akong gagawin. Yun po yung final income tax. Okay? Capital gains tax, ito ay applicable po sa dealings ng certain capital assets. Domestic stock po, in particular, when sold directly to buyers, saka real property capital assets. When you sell them, they are subject to a tax, a capital gains tax, no? Okay? So, yun, no? Alright? And regular income tax, ito'y applicable sa active income, yung mga income na nagtatrabaho tayo, like for example, compensation, business income, income from profession, and others, no? Ang regular income tax, siya po yung basurahan ng mga income na hindi na tax sa final income tax, capital gains tax, or regular tax. Okay? Kaya ang trabaho mo guys is once na na-identify mo na ang income ay taxable, tignan mo yung listahan ng final income tax. Kung nandun, mapa-final tax siya. Kung wala doon, check mo yung capital gains tax. Kung nandun, maka-capital gains tax. Kung hindi, automatic po yan, regular income tax ang mag-a-apply po sa kanya. Okay ba? So, ganun po yan, no? So, these are our 3 income tax system. Kahit sino po yung taxpayer, individual o corporation po, no? They will be subjected to final tax, capital gains tax, or regular income tax on those income mentioned, no? So, it's best to memorize ano po yung income subject to final tax for individual, capital gains tax for individual, and regular tax for individual. Sa corporations din, ano yung corporate income subject to final tax, corporate income subject to capital gains tax, and corporate income subject to regular tax. Okay? So, ganon. Alright. Now, guys, eto. Okay? Ang income tax, binabayaran ng tao, right? Yung tao na yung taxpayers. And dalawa lang po ang classification ng taxpayer sa ating batas, individual saka corporation. Individuals are natural persons like you and me. Corporations are these are beings created by law, no? Yung mga corporation, association, partnership, joint venture, okay? Pati po yung yung tinatawag natin na one-person corporation, corporations po yan. Alright, so for individual, we have citizen or alien. Citizen are Pinoys, and alien are hindi Pinoys, no? So yun. And for citizen, we have resident and non-resident citizen. Okay? Yung resident citizen, residing dito, nandito siya, Pinoy siya nandito, no? Itong naman, itong tawag dito, non-resident citizen, no? Of course, Pinoy na nasa labas. Okay? Alien, resident alien, alien, banyaga na nandito, non-resident alien, alien na wala dito. At ang alien na wala dito, engaged or not engaged. Okay? So, paano natin sasabihin na resident or non-resident yan? Okay, this is a common rule for alien and citizen. Ang first test po dyan ay tinatawag natin na residency. No? You check for the intent, I should say, intent. Dalawa po ang check. Ang titignan natin yung intention, okay? At kung walang intention, we look at the length of stay, no? Kung may intent to stay here, no? Resident siya. Walang intent to stay here, of course, non-resident siya. Kung alien, kapatid, ano, by the way, no? Sige, ganito, para hindi ka malito, no? Okay? So, in the case of citizen, no? In the case of citizen, kunwari, umalis ang citizen at meron siyang intention to reside abroad upon departure ng resident citizen na yan. Kapag ang alien dumating sa Pilipinas at may intention siya to reside here, upon arrival, si resident alien na yan. Nagas po? Ganun po siya. Intention to reside. Kung Pilipino, may intention to reside abroad ba? If yes, non-resident na yun. Kapag alien dumating, may intention to reside here, upon arrival, resident na yun. Ganun. Okay? So yun, if there is no intent to reside, paano malalaman yung intention to reside, no? Siyempre, yung purpose ng kanyang pagpunta dito, kung nagmamigrate siya abroad, may intention to reside doon, no? Kung nagmamigrate, nagwo-work siya doon ng extended period of time, no? More than 1 year, ganun, for example. Of course, magre-reside siya for a long term, magiging resident kapag ganun. I guess po. Ha? So, yun. Or kung Pinoy, magiging ng resident, no? Kung mayroon siyang contract work to, meron siyang contract, for example, to work abroad for 3 years, edi matik ng resident yan upon departure. Nasundan. So, we look at the documents they are presenting on their departure in the case of citizen or arrival in the case of alien, no? Okay. So, kung citizen, guys, tandaan mo, no? Ganito po siya, no? Okay? Paano kapag walang intent to reside abroad? Paano natin siya i-consider na non-resident? Length of stay, no? We look at the length of stay, no? Kung wala siyang dalang dokumento, pinapakitang dokumento sa kanyang pag-alis, no? We look at the length of stay. Kung nandun siya sa abroad ng more than 183, tandaan, kung citizen, the rule is more than 183. Kung nasa abroad ng more than 183, non-resident na yan. Ang alien naman po, dumating sa Pilipinas, walang intention to reside. Okay? So, hindi siya resident upon arrival. No. Okay, we look at the length of stay. Kung siya ay more than 1 year dito, resident alien yan. Kapag less than 1 year siya, we look at kung siya ba ay at least 180 o less than 180. Okay? Kung less than 180 ang alien, no? Less than 180 days, ha? Siya po ay non-resident alien, not engaged. Kapag po siya ay at least 180 days na nandito na, resident alien, non-resident alien engaged. Kapag more than 1 year siya, as of the end of the calendar year, resident alien siya. Okay ha? Repeat ko, citizen, ang test natin, 183. Okay? More than 183. More than kapag citizen. Pero kapag alien, ang test natin po sa between engaged and not engaged, at least 180 days. Okay? Clear tayo doon, ha? Alright. So, that's it. Now, for domestic corporation, for corporations, no, there are 3 classification: domestic, resident foreign, saka non-resident foreign. Ang domestic ay incorporated here, no, in the Philippines. Ang resident foreign, okay po, basta ang foreign corp, incorporated abroad. We look at the place of incorporation. Doon po natin matetest yung nationality ng korporasyon, right? Kung dito organized, dito siya, dito incorporated, domestic. Doon sa abroad, incorporated foreign. Paano mo malalaman resident ng resident? Kapag meron siyang branch dito sa Philippines, kapag meron siyang permanent establishment, no? Dito sa Pilipinas, no? Resident po siya. Kung wala siyang branch dito, ganun, non-resident foreign. Okay? So, ganun po siya, guys, no? And I want you to note, no? Remember na ganito 'yon, no, guys, no? Remember, ha? Between individuals and corporations, kapatid, all of them are covered by the territoriality rule. Lahat sila taxable lang on income earned in the Philippines. Exception, resident citizen and domestic corp. Yung resident citizen and domestic corporation, taxable globally. Nakikishare ang Philippines sa kanilang income sa labas. Okay? By virtue of citizenship. No? Kasi kung citizen ka kasi dito, resident citizen o domestic corp ka, you have all the privileges. Other taxpayers category, you do not enjoy as much as what resident citizen and domestic corporations have. Okay? Yun, no? Okay. Other taxpayers, no? Guys, eto po. ang estate, no? Ang estate ay property of a decedent, no? Not extinguished by death. Yung naiwan na property ng namatay, yung estate ho yun. Taxpayer po ang estate, no? If judicially settled siya. If the estate is undergoing judicial partition. Okay? Kung extrajudicial, yung mga heir lang nagpa-partition, hindi po siya taxpayer. Okay? Yung income nung property under, nung estate under extrajudicial partition will be taxable to the heirs. Kapag judicial siya, taxable po siya as an individual taxpayer. Okay? Trust. Ang trust po ay deed of donation. Indirect nga lang po siya kasi nga meron pong magmamanage na third party. Trust is a three-party relationship. Grantor, beneficiary, and trustee. Right? Okay? Magdodonate si grantor papunta kay beneficiary but it will be managed by a third party at trustee. If the property held by the trustee is bearing income, that trust could be an income taxpayer. But it depends whether the trust is revocably designated or irrevocably designated. Kung irrevocably designated, taxpayer ang trust. I repeat, ang irrevocable trust ang taxpayer. Kung revocable po yung designation ni beneficiary, hindi taxpayer yung trust. Ang income ng property held in trust in such case will be taxable to the grantor. Pero kapag irrevocable ang trust, designation ng property, no? Yung designation ni beneficiary irrevocable, yung income ng trust na irrevocable is taxable to the trust as a taxpayer. Ang irrevocable trust po taxable as an individual taxpayer. Okay, don't forget that. One person corporation, guys, is a corporation consists of one shareholder, no? Kaya one person corporation. These are taxable as corporations. Okay? Partnership, kapatid, ang partnership din, no? This is a juridical person created by two or more people, right? No? Okay? Wherein they pull the resources together to a common fund and then divide the fruit of the venture, right? That's partnership, right? Okay? Ito po, tandaan mo ha, ang partnership, kapatid, with the exception of general professional partnership, ha? Ang partnership po ay corporate taxpayer. Okay? Ang general professional partnership exempt. What is a general professional partnership? A partnership that is formed, no, by two or more professionals in the same line of profession and in the pursuit of that profession. Okay ha? So ang GPP, General Professional Partnership, ay partnership ng professionals belonging in the same line of profession. Kunwari, parehas sila doktor lahat and in exercise of their profession. So, they are exercising medical field. Lahat ng doktor nagpatayo ng sari-sari store. Lahat na doktor na partner nagpatayo ng sari-sari store. Business partnership yun. General partnership siya, kumbaga. Ordinary partnership tawag. Okay? So, dapat kung lahat silang doktor, nagpatayo sila ng clinic nila, ganon, in exercise of their profession, of course, yun po general professional partnership. Okay? Ha? Ito tandaan, ang business partnership, ordinary partnership, o general partnership, taxable as a corporation. Ang GPP po, general professional partnership, exempt. Wala po siyang income tax. Okay? Joint venture, no? Joint venture, kapatid, is a partnership of juridical persons or natural persons. Maraming klase yan, di ba? May jointly controlled asset, jointly controlled operation, hati lang sila sa isang certain activities. Okay? Or meron tayong tinatawag na jointly controlled entities. Diba? Okay, I want you to note, guys, no, although those terms are old terminologies, they pertain to the same type of joint venture, no? That's no longer your PFRS provision, but it's still relevant, no, in the field of taxation. So, eto guys, no, I want you to note, kung jointly controlled asset yan, co-ownership of asset yan, I mean, no? And tawag dito, co-ownership of yun nga, no? Joint venture in particular, I should say, guys, no, is tawag dito, siya, no? Itong joint venture na pinag-uusapan natin po dito is joint operation siya, no? Yung joint operation sa PFRS mo. Let us be clear about that. Yung hati sila sa gawain, no? And then they divide the fruit of the venture. Ganun po siya, no? I want you to note, no, na this joint venture, basta hindi po siya engaged in oil exploration or construction, no? Hindi siya construction joint venture. Hindi siya oil exploration joint venture. Taxable po siya as a corporation. Take note of that. Okay po, ha? Yun. Yung joint venture kasi na engage in construction and oil exploration, exempt po yun. para siyang general professional partnership. Hindi po siya magbabayad ng income tax. Okay? So, noted guys, no? Okay. And ito pa, may isang klase ng joint venture. Yung tinatawag natin na jointly controlled asset. Ang technical legal term niya, co-ownership. Co-ownership. Taxable ba ang co-ownership? It depends. If the co-owners, if the activities of the co-owners are limited to the preservation of the property or income collection, no? Pine-preserve lang nila yung property which they co-own, or they're just limited to taking the fruits and dividing among themselves, no improvement, no other venturing into other income producing activity. If that is the case, exempt po yung co-ownership na yan or jointly controlled asset, no? Okay? But if a co-ownership invests in other income producing assets or other income producing activities, magiging taxable po siya as a business partnership, and as such, matatax din siya as a corporation. Remember, partnership is taxable as a corporation. Okay po? So, ganun siya guys, no? Okay? Noted? Yan. How about jointly controlled entities? Well guys, kapag jointly controlled entity kasi business na po yun. It may be incorporated or unincorporated, no? Ang jointly controlled entity, no, na incorporated, corporation siya, it's an ordinary corporation. So, taxable as a corporation. How about a jointly controlled entity that is not incorporated, unincorporated joint venture? Okay? Well, kung unincorporated joint venture, it's just an ordinary partnership. And we know partnership is taxable as a corporation, so it's still taxable as a corporation. Okay? So to sum up, no, yung jointly controlled operation ang pinag-usapan natin dito, no? Taxable po siya as a corporation basta hindi engaged in construction or oil exploration. Kasi exempt 'yun, no? Okay? Kung co-ownership siya, jointly controlled asset, co-ownership po siya basta hindi nila i-reinvest yung income ng jointly controlled asset. Limited lang sila to preservation of the property and income collection. Ganun lang, no? Kung jointly controlled entity, taxable na po yun as a corporation, whether incorporated or not. Okay po? Ayos. Okay. Now, let's go back guys again, no, to cycles of income. Of course, this is income tax. So, normally, itatax lang ng Philippines ang income from Philippine sources with the exception of domestic corporation and resident citizen. Kasi global po yung tinatax sa kanila, right? So, it's the location of the income, the place where the income is earned is very critical for income tax purposes, no? So, ay ito, no? Dividend income. Saan earn ang dividend income? Okay? Sige, remember, no? Depende sa source, no? Depende sa source. If the source is domestic corporation, no? Always within po yan. Earn within po ang dividend from domestic. Lagi. Okay po. If the dividend income is earned from a foreign corporation, we use predominance test. What is predominance test? Okay? Or mula doon sa year of declaration, okay, we look at the gross income from Philippine source of that foreign corp, no? 3 years before the date of declaration. No? Kunin mo gross income from Philippine sources doon. Divide mo doon sa gross income all sources. I repeat, mula doon sa year of declaration ng dividend ng foreign corp, kunin mo yung gross income ng foreign corp from Philippine sources within the 3-year period prior to the year of declaration of dividends, no? Gross income Philippines, kunin mo yun in those 3-year period. Divide mo doon sa gross income all sources within those 3-year period. Then extract a percentage. That is the predominance ratio. Okay? If the percentage is at least 50%, at least, remember that, no? Okay? At least 50%, then that means, no, yung percentage na nakuha mo times the dividend from the foreign corporation, yun po yung within. If the percentage is below 50%, everything of the dividend from the foreign corp is earned without. Okay po? So, for example, nakuha mo predominance ratio, 60%. 60% times the dividend received is within. 40% times the dividend received from the foreign corp, that's without. Okay? But for example, what you receive is 40%. Na-compute mong predominance ratio is 40%. Okay? That means all of the dividend from the foreign corporation is earned without. Okay? Clear? Okay po ha? Yan. Intact po yung predominance ratio. Walang napalitan. Okay? So that's it. Now, Secondly, interest income, no? So saan earn ang interest income for purposes of taxation, no? Interest income, guys, is earned in the residence of the debtor. Tandaan ha, kung nasaan yung debtor, doon siya earn. Kung nagpautang ka ng OFW, saan earn yung interest income? Abroad kasi nandun siya, ng residence siya. Nag-guess po? Ganun, ha? Residence of the debtor. Service income, okay, place where service is rendered. Saan nangyari yung servicing, no? Yung activity na yon, no? Doon po earned. Gets? Royalty income, where the intangible is employed, no? So for example, yan po ay franchise, no? And you're earning royalty from franchise, saan ginagamit yung franchise? So kunwari yan po ay food chain, meron kang franchise na food chain, nasaan yung food chain? Doon ginagamit yung franchise. Doon earn yung royalty income. Guess mo? But for example, book publication yan, no? Copyright, no? May royalty ka from copyright. Nag-publish ka ng libro sa US. You're earning royalty. So where is the royalty income? Sa US. Kasi doon, okay, ginagamit yung intangible. Place where the intangible is employed. Gets? Rent income, rent is service. Remember, rent is service. So, where the service is rendered. Yung service of leasing is done in the property. Nasaan yung property? Location of the property, garod. Okay po, ha? Okay, rent income is earned in the location of the property. Sorry for that, garod. Okay? Ayan. In gain on sale, no? Gain on sale. How about gain on sale? Depende sa binebenta mo. Kapag immovable ang binebenta mo, location nung property sold, doon po yung gain on sale. Nandun siya sa location ng immovable property sold. Pero kapag po movable yung property na binenta mo, place of sale of the movable property. Where is that place of sale for a movable property? Place where the buyer and the seller agreed. Place of agreement kapag movable. Immovable place, location of the property kapag immovable. Kasi hindi mo maigalaw. Kaya nga immovable eh. Fix siya in the location of the property. Guess what? Okay, for manufacturing and merchandising, remember, in merchandising, you're selling goods, right? You're selling goods. So, movable ang goods, right? Sa place of sale. Nasaan po yung store? Nandun siya. Okay pa. Ayan. In the case of manufacturing, guys, no? Manufacturing income, no? Okay, place of production and place of sale ang rule natin dito, no? So, how to do that, no? Meron ho tayong paraan kung paano i-split ang manufacturing income, yung tinatawag ho natin na we consider arm's length rate, no? Tignan mo yung intercompany billing rate niya muna. If it is at arm's length rate, no? Then, kung magkano yung na-measure na gain within and gain dun sa without, for example, those will be deemed earned in those respective places, no? Pero kapag po hindi at arm's length, no? Yung intercompany billing rate na ginagamit ng company, no? I-re-adjust po ni BIR po yan. Okay po? I-adjust niya at arm's length. So, kung ano yung magiging within at magiging without, depende na po doon sa transfer pricing adjustment to be done by the BIR. Okay? So, as a matter of simplicity, kapatid, to avoid this conflict between the taxpayer and the government, normally, meron po silang APA dyan, Advanced Pricing Agreement, no? So, kung may transfer price, no? Yung transfer price na gagamitin, no, ng isang division, manufacturing division and the sales division, it will be set. It will be agreed by the taxpayer and the Commissioner of Internal Revenue for purposes of measuring yung kung ilan yung income ng merchandising here or ilan yung income ng manufacturing operation here. Okay, merong pricing agreement, no? Na yun yung basis mo to measure kung ano yung presumptive sale, kung kunwari manufacturing division sa Pilipinas, ibebenta niya sa affiliate niya abroad yung goods na pinoproduce niya dito. Ilan ang kita dito? Okay? So kung may APA, you use the APA rate to measure the presumptive selling price here in the Philippines for purposes of measuring the gross profit or gross income from Philippines. Kung dito naman yung sales outlet, manufacturing sa labas, no? We also use APA to set the presumptive purchase price of the goods we get from outside. Para ma-avoidan lang po yung ginagawa ng ibang taxpayer na dinodoktor po nila yung situs ng gross income nila. Kunwari, in the Philippines, they are taxed at 25%, di ba? Kunwari, korporasyon yan, matatax ng 25% dito. And galing Brunei pala yan. Sa Brunei, tax haven yan. Tax haven. Wala pong income tax dun. Ang gawin niya dun, yung selling price niya dun, yung buong gross income niya, i-recognize niya doon. Yung selling price natin dito, doon din niya ibenta dito para sakal yung gross income dito. It will be unfair for the Philippines. Diba? That's why we have APA, Advanced Pricing Agreement, to be agreed upon by the commissioner and the taxpayer for fair measurement of cross-border income. Okay po, para ma-control ang problem on situs, no? Okay? So yun, no, guys? That is situs. Okay?